Hi, this is Jonathan. How you guys doing? Today we're going to feature a pedal from Laney. This is the Laney Ironheart Foundry IRF, the LoudPedal. want to thank the lovely Miss Janet from Davis Guitar for passing me this pedal for review. Always been a fan of the Laney range of amplifiers and also their effects pedal. Now this is, well, an amp in a box basically. So this is the Ironheart Foundry, or rather the Ironheart Foundry LoudPedal. And it features 2 channels with 60 watts RMS, enough to get the cups running to your place if you go all the way up. Now, unfortunately, I'm not able to test this on real live speakers or cabinets. So all I'm doing this time for this video is basically to hook this up directly to my interface and henceforth to my door. So what you're hearing actually is just the speaker emulation from the pedal itself, as well as my own IRs, which was featured in the song, in the beginning. The demos are all with the speaker emulation from this pedal. Now, basically, from the top down, you see 2 channels and a set of passive EQ, bass, mid, treble. On the top, you have 2 channels, like I said, gain, volume. So you have channel A, channel B, which is switchable over this with this foot switch. Right here, you have the boost switch, where you have this red knob, which dictates how much boost you want to add pre-amp. That means it's going to boost up your saturation if you're going to bring up your boost. So it's a good addition to have, instead of having another booster pedal like some of us have. On the clean channel, on channel 1, you have, apart from the volume and gain, you have 3 settings where you can kind of like change the way the gain sound as you adjust accordingly. You have the rhythm, the clean, and the lead. So it's really useful if you're going to set your channel 1 to a rhythm kind of sound, or a really clean kind of sound where you can handle choruses and whatnot. And then you have the lead, where you can have this as a clean kind of solo thing, right? Nice, And for the channel 2, you have volume and gain, and then you have 2 settings. You have the bright and dark. So basically, it kind of brightens up everything apart from your EQ, just a little, just a touch, and brings up the low when you go into the dark mode, where you just have a little bit of a low mid, right? So this is on the top panel. You have 3 LED lights to indicate your boost, which channel you're on, right? On the side, you have this input jack. On the back, you have a couple of interesting inputs. You have the 24-volt power in and a power switch where you can turn this unit on and off. You have a headphone jack where you can practice this without harming any animals or human beings. You have an aux in where you can hook up to your MP3 player and jam along. And then there's this speaker emulation switch here. And of course, you have a XLR out, right? That's where I hooked up to my interface. And then you have a ground link or a ground lift, like up and down, whatever, in case you have 60 cycle hum and stuff like that. On the other side, you have send or line out, which you can also hook up to your interface if you don't want to use XLR. You also can use this as a send and return. There's a return here for your effects, whatever effects you have. And then a really nice 8-ohm speaker out to your speaker cabinet if you so choose. Now the unit is really well made, really hardy. It's a half to it, not too heavy, just nice. I can see this being used in a gig where you don't want to use any speakers, you don't want to use any cabinets, real loud cabinets, and you're just going to use IRs. These days there are IR loaders and whatnot, so you can kind of use this in configuration if you're not too keen about the speaker emulation. And you can get by with this on the stage, and of course you can have other stuff before your compressors. You can hook this before your time-based units too, because you have a send and return here. So I think it's a nice pedal to have in your pedal board if you're gigging a lot and you do not want to depend on real amps, So instead of lugging a real Marshall or whatever you're doing, you can just lug this along and still get by with a gig. I see this more like for the heavier rock group of people, the metal players and the heavy rock, because the Ironheart series are more geared towards heavy stuff. So you can kind of hear it straight off, like this is meant for heavy stuff and not for the cleaner stuff, which I tried. In all fairness, I think it worked because you can somehow kind of like tweak a little bit on your EQ and using your own IRs. It might just work. So it can function as a normal amp if you want to, but in my opinion, I think this is meant for the heavier rock stuff. So yeah, nice pedal to have in your pedal board if you're looking for an amp in the box. And from Laney, you can't go wrong. So these guys, they know what they're doing. They've been around for a long time. Let me know what you think about this pedal. Leave your comments in the comment section down below. I want to hear from you. Units available in Singapore through Davis Guitar. So if you're in Singapore, just pop on down and give this a try. All right. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel. Press that bell for notification of future videos that follow, and be part of Patreon to support this channel. I would appreciate it. I thank all my patrons for the wonderful love, the support. Thank you so much, guys. So in the meantime, I'll catch you and have a great weekend. I'll see you soon. Arrivederci.